Hi there, JDL Brushes here, and we have a new video. This time I am working on an architectural design sketch, and it's actually situated in some kind of tropical place, and I think you can tell that the trees are palm trees. Wow. So yeah, that was the basic kind of inspiration for my architectural design, and I think I'm actually kind of developing a process right now where I start with the shadows and then work my way to the colors and then to some adjustment layers, kind of finalizing the shadows and the colors, and then working on the white, kind of fine liner finishing touches, and then maybe adding some noise, or I usually add some noise in the very end of the rendering. So right now for the shadows, I was actually kind of having trouble, or the challenge, I guess, for this sketch was how do I balance the shadows when it comes to the building envelope, or the skin, or the glass skin, because well, I've never actually kind of rendered out this kind of thing before. So yeah, I was having trouble balancing how deep the shadows would be, and thankfully we are working on the digital medium, or with a digital medium, so I separated the shadows, especially of the glass skin, building skin, and separating that from everything else. So yeah, and not just that, as you can see in the side, I've actually used a lot of layers for the shadows and the shadows, and I don't usually do that. So then again, I'm always experimenting, trying new things, and if ever you don't feel safe rendering something out or coloring something, it's always fine to paint that thing you're not sure of in a new layer. So yeah. So right now you can see me working on the vegetation first, and if you focus closely on the trees, you can see me adding some variant hues and just trying to make it a little more interesting for the audience. And for the actual sketch that I did beforehand, the line sketch, I haven't actually defined much of the ground. I mean, I do know there's some kind of road or highway kind of cutting through the middle of the image, but yeah, it's kind of vague, but you know, it's fine because it is a sketch, and yeah, so it actually kind of reminds me of school a lot, because I actually do have an unfinished background, let's just say that, in architecture, because I studied some architecture back in college, and yeah, it actually brings back a lot of memories and some traumatic ones as well. But yeah, I'm fine now. So right now I'm focusing on, or I'm rendering out the kind of the center mass within that glass envelope. So I'm not sure why I went for the blues, but it just felt right for me. And again, you can always change the colors as you can see me doing now with the hue and saturation or with the color balance. That's usually how I change the colors after. Yeah. And for the supplementary or background buildings, I think I just went for some kind of warm grays and just totes, totally right. So I think I'm working on the ground right now, especially the sidewalks, and I'm not actually satisfied with the colors that I've chosen for the ground. It felt, or it feels right now, watching it live right now, it feels like it's a little too warm, you know, or red, I guess. Maybe it should have been a little more yellow in a way. Yeah. So right now I'm working on the roads, and maybe I shouldn't have rendered it that way because the road now actually kind of looks very reflective, and that's not how a road should be, you know, unless it's kind of in a raining environment. And right now you can see me working on a new layer and rendering out the glass envelope of the building. And this is actually a new approach that I'm working on, or that I've tried, I guess. And it's just being very focusing on the rendering, not actually selecting anything, you know, not creating any masks. And then once you've rendered out the image, you start to simply erase out the parts that you don't need. Now for this instance, or in my case, I actually use the eraser tool. Oh no, I actually use the layer mask tool, and it's whenever you try to layer mask something out, it's basically a way of trying to erase something without erasing it. So it's kind of a safe erase. But you know, I think from time to time I actually did use the eraser tool, and yeah. And I've actually seen this technique used in a lot of digital renderings, especially in product design stuff, say in car renderings or product design in general. I've seen a lot of this kind of thing where you render it out first in a new layer and then you just erase whatever you don't need afterward. So yeah, I think it's a very kind of, I don't know, very bold approach to rendering. And I think I'm working on the adjustment layers right now. I usually go for the vibrance tool, or the vibrance adjustment layer, the color balance layer, and again the hue and saturation, just in case I want to change up the colors. And yeah. So right now I'm doing the white line phase using the line tool, and I think I've also, along with the brush tool. For the brush tool, just make sure you have a usually any brush I guess would work, a hard brush, and just set it to the same size as the line tool. Now for me, I usually use between number 2 to number 4 when it comes to the thickness of the lines. the white lines. So yeah, I guess it depends on the size of your image. So yeah. So as you can see, it actually kind of looks, it makes it look more finished, I guess, and pretty. And again, make sure you erase out the white parts that you don't need, because sometimes it can be overdone. And yeah, and I think I add some noise like I always do. And there you go. Whichever your art, whatever your tool, make it beautiful. Bye.